Well, this is my first video on YouTube. It's my communications journal for Julie Wynn's communications class. And my first journal will be about the green speech that we had here on campus. It was a two-day event of different speakers, and the one I really would like to talk about is named by led by Bianca Alexander, and she actually is a producer for the show Conscious Living and Soul Green. Conscious Living actually was a Emmy awarding show, and it was all actually in the running for another one. But that show is about learning about the community and how to live, living consciously. The whole point of the show was to bring the green movement to the mainstream, not rather than like a separate movement, like the hippies, as she would call them. And then Soul Green would be a more ethnic background to the Green movement. But her speech in general was about like becoming green and about the Green movement in the United States and like what happened. And her story was actually about around 2004. She was pitching ideas for a TV show, Conscious Living, and during this time, the Green Movement was not big at all. It was not. It was just known for rich white males. And she thought like this. I mean, it's important, and so she's pitching to producer after producer after producer, and everyone turned her down. So she produced for herself, and now it's very successful. And what I learned from her speech was more like how like the passion of her personal story behind it. So like diving down more to like an analysis of like how she said it was more like what was important was her enthusiasm and her personal connection with the audience, which made it like an important and like a very large impact on everyone in the room. It showed how much she cared about like her movement, and by like sharing her personal story of going out and like doing it on our own was like one thing. And so going down to like interpretation is like to interpret what she's saying. She was like strong, like how she like made the speech was strong with her confidence, and like how she spoke about her the green movement, and her her diligence to keep going more and more was made the green movement more like happening. Like she during this time like started like the in my opinion started like the green movement. It became like part of the beginning of the green movement, and because it was during the time of 2004, which was like to give a time perspective, YouTube was just starting up, and she took the risk to go on YouTube on the internet for her production. So she was a risk taker, and she like with her risk came rewards. So going down to like more like the evaluation of like her speech, like specifically, I thought it was good because of her enthusiasm and her drives like to the audience, and like her personal connections to the audience that she made and her story were good. But at the same time, I thought the bad part of the negative of the speech was her scope of the speech, which she limited to Chicago, which I understand. I mean, this is her show is based in Chicago, and her um, like her scope was basically in Chicago. And I feel like even though like I'm from Houston, Texas, so like I couldn't relate as well, and I understood the speech obviously. Like I speak English and I get it. Like I understand Chicago, even though I've only been here maybe a month. But like I still think the scope shouldn't have been. I don't think she should have limited her scope to only like Chicago. I think she should have focused on like the whole nation green movement rather than that. But I mean, to for myself to like engage in this communication is like really simply to like join like the green movement, like do as she says, like take small steps into the green movement, and like you don't have to like take a leap of faith and like never use water again, or like only use food sustainability. Like you can take one step at a time by taking quicker showers, for example. So like really like like the opportunities that arise from the Green Moon, especially at like Loyola Chicago, like is like easy access. So being engaging in this kind of communications would be very easy for me. So that is like my spiel on the her speech and what I thought about it.